So what I wanted to talk about as kind of the second piece to this morning's talk is specifically how do we integrate mindfulness into our clinical work, into psychotherapy. And that was really the impetus for writing the book, The Art and Science of Mindfulness. Is I am a professor in a graduate program where we train MFT students. And I've been there for 6 years, and as I've been working with these truly amazing, inspiring students, what I found called to teach them over and over again was mindfulness, both as an important clinical tool and skill, but also as a way of taking care of themselves. And I am fortunate to be part of a university and a department where they're very open-minded, and so we've now developed a course called Mindfulness and Psychotherapy that I've been teaching for a couple years, and I wanted a textbook for it. And so this book really came out of my desire to provide something for my students. And what I'll be talking about this morning with you is how we integrate mindfulness into the helping professions, and kind of the different ways of doing it, and also the different reasons for doing it, both in terms of caring for our patients and also caring for ourselves. As I mentioned in the previous talk, mindfulness trains us in how to pay attention. And I tell my students, I don't care how many therapeutic techniques you have, how much theoretical knowledge you have, if you can't pay attention and connect with the human being sitting in front of you, it doesn't matter. If your mind is wandering off to, oh, I need to remember this at the grocery store, or I wonder how my son's doing in school, it doesn't matter how much information you have. That really the heart of therapy, the heart of healing is being present and connecting with another human being. And we need to know how to pay attention to do that. So one of the ways I believe mindfulness is really essential is simply by helping us as therapists train our body and mind and heart in how to be present, in how to pay attention. And so I begin my classes with meditation. And I don't actually even call it meditation. I say we need to practice being present. We need to practice paying attention. And I'll ask them, you know, how many people notice your mind has wandered off in the last 5 minutes? Everyone raises their hand. I say, that's, you know, the therapy hour is 50 minutes. Think about that for a moment. We need to learn how to pay attention. So mindfulness does this. Mindfulness also increases empathy. One of the things that I've been most curious about and most interested in my own research is how do you cultivate empathy? One, can you cultivate it? You know, Carl Rogers kind of thought you were born with it. And he said, you know, the people that should be therapists are the people that are high in empathy. And he's definitely been a huge inspiration for me. And he also believed you could cultivate it. But he said, you know, you're born with it. But what I was curious about is how do we cultivate it? And if we know that empathy in all the research is the most predictive factor in patient outcome. If we know that this is what helps people heal, why aren't we teaching it in our graduate programs? How many people in your graduate program had a class on empathy?
Certainly integrate.
Wonderful. But so you were 3 of 500 people. It's amazing. We know that this is, if you knew that this pill, you know, cured this illness, that's what you would take. We know empathy is predictive of healing, and yet we don't really teach people. We tell our students, be empathic, be compassionate. But that's like telling your anxious patient, relax, now go home. Yeah. Right? By learning how to regulate our own emotions, one, we're more in touch with what's happening, or more aware of countertransferences. But we're also